Hello viewers, in this lecture we are going to look at how to deal with errors. In the previous video we deal with files without error. So in this video we are going to deal with files with error, and we are going to do that by specifying the error option. First of all, let's create our database. So we'll create our database, and we'll create our schema, and we'll now create a stage. I will not display my key ID and secret key ID. So you run this query to create a stage. So I've run my stage here successfully. So let's look at the files in our stage. So we can see that we have three files. We have the file, these two files are files without error, and we have the one with error. So let's create our table. So we've successfully created our table. So let's try to copy this file with error. So let's try to copy this file into our created table with error to demonstrate the error message. You see, let me expand it. You see, it said numeric value 5 is not recognized. If you could like to continue loading when an error is encountered, use other values such as skip file or continue for the on error option. For more information on loading option, please run info load underscore data in a SQL client.
Sorry for intruding. If you're enjoying my content, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. It really helps me out and allows me to create more videos for you. Thank you so much for your support.
So these are the on error option that we're going to look at. We're going to look at the skip file and the continue. So let me show you the file. Let me show you the file with error so that you can have an overview of how this error looks like. So this is the file we are going to, this is the file that we just tried to load. We can see here that it has in the ID, it's supposed to be a numeric figure of 5, 6, 7, but it's a voucher of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 5 error. We have 5 error in total, which is supposed to be a numeric value, which is supposed to be an integer. So so let's go to our Snowflake and let's validate that our table is empty. So you can see that our table here is empty, and let's try to use the copy option continue. The copy option with on error continue specify that we should load the data that are error free. So it's going to load the data. If we look at this data, we have a data with a total sum, with a total roll of 100. We have it, and we have an error of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a total number of 5 errors. So let's try to load this data with the on error continue option. So let's load this data. So you can see that the data has loaded, but it is partially loaded, and it said it has a row of 100, but it loaded a row of 20, of 95 and the errors seen are not 5, which we specify, which is the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 alphabet value instead of numeric value. So, and the error starts from the rule line 6. So let's validate the result. Let's check our table and see how many data was loaded. So we can see that only 95 was loaded. You can see that the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 has been skipped, and all the data without error is being loaded. And let's count the number of rows that was loaded successfully. So we can see when we try to count the number of data in our file, in our table, we found out that it was 95 that was loaded instead of 100. So let's truncate our table, and truncate means to remove all data from the table. So let me run the table. You will see that the table is empty at the moment. You can see that the table is now empty. So now let's try to copy So if we did not specify anything, this is the default option. For instance, that we run for the instance that we try to copy this file without on error option, without the continue option. This is how the copy option will react, because since there is an error in this file, it will not load anything at all. It will abort all the statements. So this abort statement is the default option if we did not use continue on our own error. So let's try to copy these two files into the table we created. So you can see that it said that the numeric value is not recognized, that we should use skip file or continue for error option. So this is the default way if we did not use the skip file or the continue option on the on error option. See, because of although this file employee underscore data underscore 1.csv is error free, just because of the second one is not error free, it will not load either of the data at all. That's how the default options work. So let's validate our table to show that the table is empty. You can see that the table is empty, and if we try to count it, and you see that there's nothing to count because the table is empty. So let's truncate our table again. So in this copy option, we are going to be handling error using the on error option skip file. So the skip file is different from the abort abort statement and continue. It is probably in between both. It means that the file where the error occur will be skipped, and the file that is error free will be loaded. So let's copy this. Let's copy this data into our table. You can see that 100 is loaded, and the second one failed because it has an error of 5, that the numeric value 5 is not recognized. Let's run our table, and you can see that it is only the table that is this table. You can see that it is only this table, this first CSV file, that was loaded successfully. The one with error wasn't loaded, so it will skip this file with error, and only load this one that doesn't have error. It doesn't mean the order of arrangement of the files doesn't matter in this parenthesis. If you put this one here and you put this one, it would still skip. It will still skip the file with error and load the one without error. It doesn't matter which one is first or second. So you can see that the only data that was loaded is the 1 to 100, the first one that is error free, that was loaded successfully. The other one wasn't loaded. So let's count the number of data in our table. You can see that the number of table is 100. So let's truncate our table. In this table, we'll specify the error limits, and it actually behaves like the continue option. In this option, we are going to use the skip file. We are going to use the error limit. When the error limit is reached, the file will be skipped. And in this error here, in this file that we have five errors. So when this error limit, let's say we have an error limit of 3. If it reached 3, instead of loading it, it will skip. So let's run this query. Here, let's first of all increase our error limit to 5 and load this data. You can see that it loaded the first file, and it loaded the second file, but the error limit here is 5, so the error seen is 5. So let's run our table and see how many data is in our table. So we can see that only the first table is loaded successfully. Let's count the number of tables, and we can see that it's only the first table that was loaded successfully. So let's try to increase the limit again to 6. Let's see if the table will be partially loaded, because in the first one it skips the entire file with error because the error limit we use is 5 and the number of error is 5, so it's not going to load the error. So let's increase the error limit to 6. Let's truncate our table to make sure that our table is empty. So now our table is empty. Let's try to copy this data into our table again. So we can see that the first table loaded successfully and the second table loaded partially. You can see that the second table loaded partially and the error limit was 6. That was why it loaded, and the number of errors seen was 5. Had it been we put 5 as the error limit like we did in the initial one, it will skip this one entirely. It will said loading failed because the limit is 5 and the number of error is 5. Since the error limit is higher than the error seen, it loaded this data partially. So let's validate this table and see the number of. So let's validate the table. We can see that the first one loaded successfully. Let's validate it. You can see that the first one loaded successfully to 100 and the second one loaded, but it skipped the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is the 5th data that has error. So let's validate it and let's count it, and you will see that the total number of rows that was loaded is 195. So let's count our rows and you will see that it is 195 that was loaded. In specifying the skip count, we did not need to specify the absolute number. We can do that by using percentage. So let's truncate our table. Let's empty our table, and here we are going to use percentage. So let's run. Here we are using 3% of 100. So you see that the data, the first one loaded successfully and the second one did not load successfully because we have 3% limit and the number of errors seen is 5, so it will not load. So let's validate. Let's select our table and we'll see that it is only the first one that was loaded successfully. So we can see that it is the first one that loaded successfully, and the second one did not load. Let's increase the percentage to, let's say, 10%, which means that it is 10. 10% of 100 is 10. So because the total number of rows in our table is 100, so it will be 10. So let's run it again. Oh, we need to truncate it first before we run it. So let me truncate it. Let's truncate our data and ensure that the table is empty. So let's truncate this data. It has been truncated successfully. So now let's copy this data into our table. So you can see that the first one loaded and the second one loaded partially, which is 95. So it has seen the error of 5. Since the error limit, it did not exceed the error limit of 10. It loaded the data partially, and the error starts from the roll number 6. So let's select and see that it is 195 data that was loaded successfully. So you can see that the first one, the number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, and number 9 in the first row with error was loaded, and you can see that the second one, which is error free, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, loaded successfully. So you can see 195 row was loaded successfully because of the file skip percentage is 10. So guys, this is how you load data with error into your table. Kindly like my video because it will help the YouTube algorithm to show this video to other students who wants to learn Snowflake. And if you want to start with a beginner's project, click the video displaying at the end of this video. Thank you for watching and keep learning.